Right, so now guys, we get to the first of our diagnostic angles. Steering axis inclination, previously known as kingpin inclination. But why? Why SAI? Why first? So, if you imagine a stone at the end of a piece of string, and you straight down, that's called your true perpendicular. Okay, that's straight down. That's that line over there. True vertical, true perpendicular. So you can imagine a line extended through the strut and it will intersect 6 inches below the road surface. That is called the strut angle. And same with intention. Same with intention. Now, that angle, who knows what that angle for? Anybody here? Anybody knows why we are steering axis inclination? Any idea? Steering wheel returnability. Let me tell you how it works. Here we have the spindle. Here we have our spindle. Here we have our strut. That's the strut and that's the spindle, okay? Now assuming we had a 0 kPi, like that. When you turn, there would be no arc. Now take the strut and I bend it backward. Okay, that's still what happens. See how it arcs? Now imagine the one side arcing up and the other side arcing down on the other side. Gravity exists. The earth does not suck. Gravity exists. It pulls downwards. You let go of the steering wheel. If you steer a vehicle on the one side, the vehicle lifts up and down. You ever noticed that the vehicle tends to have a nominal lift? And that lift is caused by SAI. Gravity pulls downward, you let go of the steering wheel. No, there isn't a ghost inside it that puts it back to straight. No. Thank you, SAI. SAI does that. SAI allows the wheel to come to the straight ahead position. So reason number 1, steering wheel returnability. That's the reason for the design of it. However, this angle can be used as a diagnostic in your diagnostic protocols. For example, typically SAI is 12 degrees. The distance between there and there, between 12 and 18 degrees, varies from vehicle to vehicle. So if you've got like 18 degrees over there, and the other side is like 12 degrees, obviously it's been impacted, what would happen? That would tell you that something is bent. Well, where would it bend? What would be bent? Where would it bend? Well, there are 3 things really that could cause that. First, number 1, the neck of the strut, right over the city. You've got negative SAI for bend at its weakest point. That is the weakest point. That's all bend there. If the impact is being severe enough, the up and down may move inward. So yes, SAI out. Or the very difficult one to find is the lower ball joint. It sucks. To find a bent lower ball joint really sucks. Really difficult to find. You have to lift that rubber thing up, and you'll check it inside to see if it's bent. The way I used to do those is I used to do isolation test. The thing about isolation test is, let me tell you what an isolation test is. Raise the vehicle up, disconnect your tie rod ends each side, use the 17 bolts and just hit them with a hammer, they pop out. I beg your pardon. Take the wheel with your hand and turn it. If you feel any stickiness, it's isolated, so the steering rack is completely out of play. You can now diagnose if you've got a bearing at the top that's collapsed, it's called memory steer, where the spring winds up. Or if it's got like a funky feel to it, the lower ball joint's bent. Or if it's sticky, it could be that the ball joint itself has become oval within its assembly. Those are the 3 things that can basically happen. But by doing an isolation test, because SRI has told you something is wrong, but by doing this test, you're able to more efficiently, more accurately diagnose the vehicle instead of just throwing parts at it and hoping that can fix it. Now you can look at it with technical efficiency, and you can say, there's good technical reasoning behind this. I think we should place that part, because I believe that is, and 8 out of 10 times you will be right. But you've diagnosed it professionally. You haven't just throw in parts at. A lot of people do. They just throw the cocktail at it. You know what the cocktail is? Stuffed up or getting up. That's it. Can't need to go to the body shop. Definitely needs a cocktail. Or what's the cocktail? Stuffed up or getting up. They just throw all of them. Because they believe all of it is faulty. Not always. Using this tool, you can accurately diagnose what is wrong with that vehicle, saving the customer a lot of money, earning his respect, and probably fixing the vehicle, which is the goal of the whole exercise. So SAI, guys, through ball joint, That's how it works. Once again, we need 6 inches below the road surface. And of course, that is called the scrub angle. Why? Who knows? Why do we have a scrub angle? Why did they design into the vehicle? Anybody? Okay, so the reason why they did that is structural integrity. The ability of the vehicle to push together, the vehicle to want to stay together, structural integrity. The vehicle wants to stay together. That's why they designed it. They designed that the internal push will be created inside the vehicle, but the vehicle wants to stay together. That's why they allowed for it. So basically, then we got the idea, the notion of ball joints. You see it extend from the top to the bottom. So those parts are put there with reason. Those angles are angled there with reason. Does that make sense to everyone? Everyone see that? Not everyone. Okay, but that is the reason for it. Does everybody understand everything to this point? Let's go through them again. Camber, inward outer tilt of the wheel. Caster, forward and rearward tilt of the wheel. So, wheel stowing in, wheel stowing out. SAI, extension of line through the ball joint or strut. Which brings us to included angle. Okay, now, in the modern alignment shop, unfortunately, people do not take their job seriously. They don't. People don't even look, even though it's on the screen, I'll show you where it is. People never look at included angle. They just have no idea what it represents and what it means. So what included angle is if you add the camber and the SAI together, you'll have an included angle. If you have a difference from one side to the other, obviously something is there. Do you agree? Obviously something is there. So let's say, for example, your SAI is, let's say, 12 degrees. And let's say your camber is 1 degree. 12 and 1 is 13. So both sides should be about 13 degrees. If your SAI is 12 degrees and your camber is -1, it would be 11 degrees. All you're doing is you're subtracting one from the other. So the machine is simply doing the addition for you, so you don't have to work out a piece of paper, work out the old calculator and do it. They simply gave it a name, added the two angles together and give you a representation of what those two angles are. All machines have a piece of paper. They all allow included angle. It's part of the diagnostic process. So it's important that you understand the concept and principle of included angle. Does that make sense to anyone? Easy, isn't it? If there be anything difficult here, anything, even a little bit, I think not. So we come to scrub radius. The way that is created, notice that all of them meet below the road surface. Once again, the structural integrity of the vehicle. Ride height has become a very, very important part of the diagnostic process. Now, there are various ways that companies do ride height these days. Bear in mind that this is America, and typically there's only one person in the vehicle most of the time. Especially on Ford, you can notice that there are no longer floors, eh? The driver's side, you will notice, drops by about a finger distance, about just over half an inch over time. It's called natural sag occurs. Now the manufacturers know that natural sag is going to occur over time. But when you have natural sag occurring, what's going to happen to the components of the vehicle? The tire end should be running like that, but of course as the vehicle sags, creates toe out. There's going to be a change over time. So the right way to repair it, obviously, is replace the pair of springs, the left and the right. No, you cannot take the right spring and put it on the left side, the left spring on the right side. Yes, I know that's what you will think. But no, it doesn't work that way. You can have the spring retempered, okay, which is a heating cooling process to get the spring back to its right height. Alternatively, you can just replace the springs. But my point of this is that there is a specification for these things these days, done in different ways. BMW, for example, for them to achieve ride height on their vehicles, they want a preload situation, which has got nothing to do with the load. It's got to do with the change in ride height. Okay? Land Rover has just launched a whole new protocol regarding this, and we're going to have lots of profits and stuff coming for our machine to be able to address that. We have ADAS coming. You know, we have lots of things that are going to be influenced by the ride height, by the need for the ride height on the vehicle. Mercedes-Benz, for example, they make use of a long distance chronometer. They actually want to know what the angle of that lower control arm is, so it can determine how much toe that vehicle needs, how much sag has occurred over time. They don't trust the average spec, which is only a guideline anyway. They want it to be more precise. So for those reasons, the Germans want extra stuff done. On BMW, they want a 78-pound bag, which is basically your weight, okay, or your weight. Okay? So you want to pick up a bag, your weight, okay, and put it in the vehicle, on the left-hand seat, another one on the right-hand seat, another one on the center of the rear seat, 30 pounds in the front with a full tank of gas. That is their criteria. That is the perfect world. Mercedes-Benz wants you to use the wrong synchronometer, then it wants you to induce pressure between the front wheels, because as you move forward, thrust is created and there's an opening effect on the wheel. For that reason, Mercedes-Benz have what we call a spreader bar, this thing over here. They're 17.5 pounds. 17.5 pounds of the place there, and you put this between the front wheels, and this induces like as if you're driving down the road. So these are the criteria. This is what the fact is. I'm not saying you're going to do it. I'm just showing you what the demands are. Okay? So any self-respecting Mercedes shop would have one of these, they'd have one synchronometer, they would have all that stuff to be able to carry out a Mercedes-Benz or BMW alignment. Just putting it out there. Now with more adaptive systems coming into play, it's actually going to look on the windshield of these things. It's actually going to be a projection from the windshield. So companies like SafeLight, look at the SafeLight. Okay, they're going to be really big. So all you guys at some point are going to have windshield operations in your businesses, because that's how you're going to have to. That is where the future is going. Adaptive controls, lane departure. Have you guys heard of that? And when you have a chance, actually not tonight, write it down. ADAS, write this down. In your own time tonight, what are you going to search? ADAS for me. I'll tell you about it tomorrow, okay? You're good at ADAS. ADAS. Okay, ADAS, ADAS, ADAS systems, okay? And I don't want a pen, I'm going to get some pen over there. So does anybody not have a pen? No. So have a pen, get a pen, thanks to reload. Reload. So ADAS is coming. ADAS is coming, and yes, at Fabribioli, they are preparing for that. They're really busy with the fundamental protocols to be able to run a separate target in the system. Basically, it's going to be two targets attached to a 4-point plan. Everything I've been speaking against today. Okay, it's going to be on the back wheels. Okay, and it's going to have a projection from the front to the rear. Okay, so you can. The secret, the key to a good front wheel alignment lies in the back wheels. Everything is referenced off the back. Just be aware of that. We'll get to this more intimately in just a few moments. I'll be doing a time here. 34 or 6 minutes. Okay, so ride height is absolutely critical. So you've got to check if the manufacturer has any sort of requirements on ride height, especially vehicles that have been involved in an accident. If a vehicle has had a collision, okay, use your fingers. Just stick it between the tire and the fender, and just walk around the vehicle and stick your fingers in. There's obviously a sag on one side, obviously something has happened. You don't need a machine to tell you that. That's how you can just visually address yourself. Now, setback. Setback is an important. Alright guys, so now we're going with setback. Not to be confused with thrusting technique. Now, setback is the determining condition that shows you can go with the test. What do I mean by frame condition? Frame condition, what do I mean? Okay, well, there are 4 frame conditions. The first one is stated, that what you're going to do right now is that's more for the body shop or cheap, and most companies have a spinning laser. And with that thing, if you imagine a piece of glass under the vehicle, and the height of the suspension relative to that piece of angled imaginary glass, that is the date and plane. Okay, so that is a different machine that you survive in. However, on our machine, we address the 3 primary ones. The primary one we address, the first one we address is diamond. Diamond frame. Okay, that's a diamond frame. So the distance from there to there, and the distance from there to there is different. It should be like that. Okay, but it's taking an impact, and the frame is diamond. Diamond is a frame condition that typically is corrected on a frame machine. Put on a 3-tower frame machine, and you actually put it. Okay, that is a diamond condition. The first of our diagnostics is diamonds. Second of diamond over here. Diamond, okay? The next one we deal with is sway. The next frame we deal with is sway. The partial collision, okay? The vehicle's taking an impact from that side like that. That is called a sway frame, if we stand, okay? So the second thing we need to diagnose for is a sway frame. See what has happened to that vehicle. And the third condition we diagnose in setback is twist. A twisted condition. Twist. Okay? Axles are like that. Negative camber, positive camber, negative camber, positive camber. Okay? Twist. Those are the three primary conditions that we deal with. So, in the event of a vehicle coming from a body shop, check the cambers to diagnose twist. Okay, check the setback to diagnose sway or diamond. Just by doing that, you are way ahead of the game. Because already you know that a condition exists within the vehicle, and I'll show you on the machine momentarily how we do that. But I want you to just know that these conditions exist. So we're interested in diamond, sway, and twist. So the picture over there. Now, if a customer comes into your shop, says, man, my car's pulling and I never hit anything, they are lying to you. I want you to know, they are lying to you, okay? None of that. If they ever say, I never hit anything, you did. But you're not trying to accuse anybody there, okay? So the way you sort of offset that argument is that they say, you know, sit at that, or wherever you are. There are big holes in the road. It's obscured by water. You're driving down the road, completely important, what now, and you forget it instantly. Stuff happens. Okay, that's just life. Just discard it like that for them. And then use your fingers. See here. Remember we used our feet earlier for the toe? Now we get to the second part of our setback. Fingers. Okay, so what you do is go to the side of the vehicle. Typically go to the driver's side first, because they don't normally impact that side unless it's a woman. Women are paid with that. Okay, stick your fingers between the fender and the wheel. Walk to the other side. And you should not the same amount of fingers sit there. Okay? Okay? So straight away, you know you've got a caster or setback type issue. Just using the tools afforded you without even having to put it on the machine. So just be aware of that, guys. Once you see a setback occurrence, do not go drive the vehicle. Do not go drive the vehicle. For your own personal safety, a wheel can fall. You know what's wrong with that thing. Get the vehicle checked up and do a physical inspection of it first. But in all other cases, in the alignment world, the right way to do this is a pre-alignment test and a post-alignment test. That is the right way to do it. By pre-alignment test, you get into the vehicle, switch the radio off, put all the windows up, switch the air conditioner right down, and take a short drive in it. From that, you'll be able to determine wheel bearing noise, pulling. When the customer comes in and says, my car's shaking, my alignment's up, they don't know. Because when dealing with an alignment, you're dealing with an around-the-wheel service. Now, around the wheel, what does that encompass? Balance, brakes, and alignment. All three of those conditions come into an around-the-wheel service. So when you're offering alignment, you're not just offering alignment. You need to have a balancer, ideally a tire change, and very possibly a brake plan. Those are the items you need BLT to do a proper around-the-wheel service. Because the customer who comes in, the reason why he's coming to you is he's not a mechanic. Okay? And he's there to protect his safety. And you are there to protect his safety. Never forget that. First reason is safety. And take your job seriously. A lot of people don't take their job seriously. Take their job seriously. Your technicians of the highest order. Be there. You know? Now, we do not want to confuse setback with thrust angle. Thrust angle is the rear wheels of the vehicle. The key or the secret to a good thrusting alignment lies in the back wheels, okay? Now, here we have the vehicle. Now in the center we have what we call the geometric center line. This is the front of the vehicle, and that is the rear of the vehicle. Okay? Now if we imagine the rear wheels pointed off to the one side, you create a new line called a thrust line. The difference between the thrust line and the geometric center line, that angle over there is called the thrust angle. You typically don't want that to be over 0.06. That's the magic number. Because if over 0.06, you know what's going to happen? That little light with the little triangle is going to trigger. The one that's the steering angle sensor. But you're going to have to counter steer the steering, and your steering angle sensor is going to trigger. So when you're doing a steering angle sensor reset, it's important that the rear wheels are set under 0.06. I'll come to steering wheel sensor in just a moment. Now, obviously if the rear wheels are like that, the vehicle is being pushed in that direction. So you as the driver are going to have to counter steer to get the vehicle to drive straight, and the vehicle is going to drop back, and the steering wheel is going to be off to the side. So the steering wheel is off center because of the back wheels. This is very important, guys. You need to understand this. You need to agree with me on this. Okay? If your back wheels are off, and it's maneuvering the vehicle around, you've got to counter steer. So the steering wheel is going to be off because of the rear wheels. Does that make sense to everyone? Yes. Or grasp it? You good with that? Make sense to you? Make sense to you? Make sense to you? Okay? So it's absolutely key that your first reference, even on a solid axle at the back, is the rear wheels. You need to know where your rear wheel track is occurring to know where your steering wheel is going to be. So you've got to get your rear thrust angle as close to 0, in the perfect world. Is this a perfect world? No. But we try and make it as perfect as possible only, okay? But if you're under 0.06, typically all will be well. All will be well. Now, in the newer vehicles, 2016, 2017, up to September 2015, you're going to need your scanner to reset the steering angle sensor. After September 2015, most vehicles you drive down the road and the steering angle sensor will reset itself after a certain 500 yards or whatever after that drive. In a lot of vehicles they've already introduced that, and they're not introducing it into more. Up until 2017, pretty much, most of the vehicles you're going to need a scanner to do that. And now you do not need one that attaches to the machine only to compliance to be able to do that. You do not need that. Just your local shop scanner, body control module, reset steering angle sensor, and just hit the button. So the engine running, steering is running positions, and your rear wheel set at 0. That's all it is, really. And that little light won't appear. Okay, so SAS, steering angle sensor. Okay, those are the, but your normal scanner, even this year on Autel, on 800 series, this one that you would be able to do it. That has been discontinued now. The scanner I recommend is the Autel, the new one, the 908, because of the price and because of everything it can do. That is the one that I would get a scanner. That would be the scanner I would get. I know that Snap-on runs in there with a $12,000 with a nice screen that doesn't do shit for you. Okay? I know. Believe me, I know. You want something that actually physically does the job. No one scanner will do every vehicle out there. No one scanner will do everything out there. But, these days you've got to reset modules, you've got to reset computer, it's all about security protocols. It's all about the security protocols. And to override and overcome those security protocols in vehicles. And of course, the dealerships don't want to deal with all the information. They want the dealerships to be busy, eh? So some stuff is withheld from you. Or you've got to do a subscription, which is very expensive, into the various manufacturers out there. So just be aware of that. The days of points and plugs and basic repairs like that, those days unfortunately are gone. So this is the new world that we find ourselves in, guys. Now even if one wheel is out at the back, you would still have, even if one wheel is out, it will still create that thrust angle. Remember, you want your rear wheels to point as straight as possible. Not always possible. Not a perfect world, eh? So like on a solid diff, like a GMC Sierra, I mean, all of those things all have the factory 21 numbers of thrust in there. Just the manufacturer, just in manufacturing, and now you're not going to improve that. But the machine will automatically carry out what we call the algorithm. I will add one side, subtract the other side, and you'll still get a straight steering wheel in spite of the fact that you have an offset emanating from the rear. The calculation is carried out for you. So you'll still get a straight steering wheel, that's what it's all about, a straight steering wheel. Right? But our alignment ranges vary. Once again, this is not a perfect world. Now, the manufacturers give you a recommended range. That is what it is. You must see it as such. It is a recommendation. Because you're going to have the odd kid that comes in and bought himself a new set of H&R springs. Real proud of the color, cars now low, looks real cool. Okay, but since he spent the last 2 weekends putting them springs in, that's how long it took him, and all his buddies, okay, and now the car's driving funky. And now after they've messed it up, they want an instant miracle from you to fix it. Okay, because what had happened, just think about the reaction of that suspension. Typically it's like a Honda Civic. Okay, so Honda Civic, the tie rod ends run like that. When the vehicle is at standard height. Okay, that's like 3 fingers on each side of between the tire and the fender. That's the standard height for those vehicles. But when they keep lowering it, the tire rod ends that should be like that are now like that. We see in front of the vehicle, it's actually changed position. So now think of the reaction, just think logically of the reaction of that suspension. With the tire rod ends like that, you sit in the vehicle, the tire rod ends there, and the wheels open up, don't they? Just think of the wheels will open up, so they won't tow out. With the tire rod ends like that, you sit in the vehicle, what's going to happen? They're going to pull together, they're going to close up. So it's going to have a towing reaction versus a tow out reaction. Okay, so what do you do in a situation like that? Spec it out the window. There's no more spec. You put that thing at 13 numbers to tow in, and that kid puts his ass in the car and puts it to 16 numbers to tow in. That's going to get a freedom, which is what it's doing. Okay? Compounded by the negative canvas. Well, the first thing you do is to tell the customer that you are not going to be able to resolve the tire wear issue. Honest upfront. So that when you know your tires will always wear marginally, magic word, marginally on the inside. However, I need you to put your ass in the car and you set the tow to 0. 0 under load. 0 under load. That is the key. So, put him sitting in the car. 0 right, 0 left, and no regard to spec at all. Nothing. You don't even consider what spec gives you at that point. Remember, the first and foremost reason for being alignment is safety. The safety of the occupant. Set the tow to 0 with him sitting in the vehicle. Or, if no one's available to sit in the vehicle, set it to 0, hang on it, watch the reaction, and set it to 0 with you displacing or jouncing. With jounce and rebound, with you jouncing the vehicle down, pull it down, watch where the wheels go, make sure that when that vehicle leaves you, when you sit in the vehicle, it's got to be as close to 0 as possible. Does that make sense to you guys? Otherwise it's squiggly, it's going to be unsafe and all that stuff. So the reason I'm mentioning this to you guys is because you as the technician take this decision. You as a technician working on the vehicle, focusing on your customer's safety, sometimes have to step out of the box. Step out of the box, hang on the bumper, watch what happens. And the key is always, 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 always 0 under load. 0 under load. That's your magic number. In all my years of alignment, 36 years, the one thing I have learned, 0 under load. Because I've had all these goofballs from Ferrari, I've had everyone from all over the world, believe me. And I've just learned over time, 0 under load has never let me down, ever. But once again, it all focuses on the customer's safety, the safety of the customer. Now, yes, there are ways you can customize specs in the machine. You can, in fact, change them. You can customize it to anything you want them to be. And sometimes, in a situation like I described to you like that, or in the situation where people raise their vehicles, they put lifting kits on, they raise the vehicle up. Everything changes. Spec, once again, out of the window, what's the magic word? 0 under load. It doesn't matter what spec says at that point, once they look at it. Because if you look at spec, and you'll demonstrate it, you remember when a newer car, actually I think Mike, you have a newer car, don't you?
2010.
It's new enough, okay? But even in this car, okay, when we set it on the spec and we load it, you will see it's going to go to 0. That is what the manufacturers try to maintain. They try to maintain a 0 under load. Okay. But alignment ranges are important. However, it's important that you as the technician, you have the final say. You decide whether you accept that range or don't accept the range. And that's based on the history of the vehicle. If that makes any sort of sense to you. I'm just trying to justify this in your words. That when a customer comes in an extreme situation, you can take the steps with logical, technical assessment and then make the vehicle as safe as possible for you. That's the whole purpose of it. The bigger thing that you're going to come to turns with is steering wheel sensor. So number one reason for a vehicle coming back to your shop is steering wheel sensor. Now there are three reasons to sensor the steering wheel. Reason number one, and the most important, safety. It does not secure the gauges. If you can't see the car's overheating, or you can't see you haven't got gas, that's not safe. Okay, so if the steering wheel is obscuring the gauges, that's number one reason. Second reason is steering wheel cancel. When you go around the corner, you come to straight into the steering wheel will cancel and not keep blinking. Because the people behind you think you can turn and you're not. Not safe. For the driver, it's not safe for anyone. Reason number three, driver comfort. Driver comfort. The guy driving down the road feeling all comfortable and smoothly with his steering wheel voice in the center. Although they all see that number one. I mean, you know that, okay? Now, there's a number of reasons why steering wheel won't come into the center. And I want to address that right now. If these are arguments we okay? No, these are discussions, not arguments. We need to phrase. These are discussions we will have in the future. Number one reason for steering wheel not coming in the center is inaccurate initial adjustment. So when the peg gets into the car, you put that little steering lock on there, and the steering wheel turns normally to the one side. These are number one. Okay? And you haven't started the engine. You've got to start the engine. Lay the steering. Fine sensor, fine sensor. Some people even have a bubble they put on top of the steering wheel to reference the sensor. Okay? When that steering wheel, with your ass sitting in the front of the wheel, not looking from the side, sitting behind the vehicle, you assess the center of the steering wheel accurately. Carefully, you get your body out of there, and you put your steering lock in without the steering wheel leaving. Second reason for an offset steering wheel, this is one that we find most common, is that when going into a shop, they take a sharp turn. I think your car's shop, you take a sharp turn to get into your glass, don't you? Yeah, it's a quite sharp turn. This is going to happen to you, okay? We're going to have this discussion, I know, okay? So when you take a sharp turn, just think about it. The steering rack in the vehicle has displaced itself off to the one side. You as the technician go in the one side and tell out the other side. The guy drives down the road, the steering rack resettles what happens to that steering wheel. Kick it. So straight away, it's the machine's fault. It's the machine. Shitty machine. It's your machine. Your machine did that. That machine's fault. That is not the machine's fault. Reason for that, two reasons, two faults. Number one, you didn't play the steering wheel sufficiently to allow the rack to find center, or one of the turntables are sticking because of dirt, because of the balls failing inside the steering, inside the component itself. Remember, to do an accurate job, you need to have efficient equipment. And if one table is sticking, and this typically happens, it can stick on the one side, but we should be tailing in the one side, tailing up the other side because the steering wheel is coming off to the center. Okay? That's reason number two. Okay? Reason number three, okay, is machine calibration. Not number one. Notice this is number three. Okay? So I term it as number three because 70% of the calls I get, okay, is reason number two. The people haven't presented the steering wheel, so I get a lot of calls. So it's an accurate, indication of what it is. So, reason number three is calibration. Now, why would the calibration go out? Wear and tear, age, you're sliding the sensors on and off, vibration, that will put the calibration up nominally, slightly over time. However, if you've got the sensor, calibration's gone in. Oh, sorry, which was different. If you've got the sensor, good choice, calibration is fine. And how would you know it? You'll find that the very cover is broken down. Or you'll see that you'll see a dent on the side, or whatever the case may be. So calibration is key to everything in alignment. You are only as good as your calibration. Shitty calibration, shitty job. There's just no way around it. Got to be calibrated. Now here at Atlas, we're very fortunate. We do not withhold this from people. You're able to buy your own calibration bar. There's one over there. There's a calibration bar right over there. And yes, we are all going to do a calibration later. We will. Okay? But the secret to all alignment is a good calibration. So for you guys all own these machines, you can all buy your own control. We sell it $699 for a car bar. It's It's an abbreviated version of that one. That's the $2,200. That's a master bar. You know, so we do our calibrator, and we have to, it has to be a master bar. But our smaller version of that is equally as accurate, easier to store because of the size. And I strongly recommend that you guys consider the purchase of the caliber. I recommend you calibrate your machine once every 6 months. Because one doesn't know what happened. Other people use your machines, other people sensors drop, they don't tell you. I mean, stuff just happens in the workshop, what can I say? You know, so this is not me trying to make a sale here, not at all. In fact, we don't even have any in stock right as of this moment, right? We'll be getting some in January again. But certainly a consideration for the future, caliber. Okay, steering wheel center, guys. Any questions on steering wheel center? All I'm saying, the important thing is significant size. Right, now we come to tooth, toe out on turns. And no, the machine cannot reach toe out on turns. No, it does not. Your turntable, however, does. There are gradients on your turntable. Now, if you imagine the vehicle, your vehicle driving around the pole. Follow here, you're driving, you're negotiating the corner. If you extend it with a string, from your point of steer, in the wheel itself, you will agree to go, even if you need a 90-degree angle there. Do you agree with that? And of course you need a 90-degree angle there. But because there's distance between the two axles, that gradient is going to change. So when going around a corner, there are two angles that need to be considered. The one wheel is turning around at 20 degrees, the other one is turning at 23 degrees. And this is achieved by the tie rod end arms that change angle when you're going to steer. The arm as it steers becomes shorter, hence we have the toe change under steer. This is important if you've got a bent knuckle. If you've got a bent knuckle, if the knuckle is bent, the one will be going at 20 degrees, the other one will be going at maybe 21 degrees or 26 degrees, or whatever the case may be, the jet will switch around the corner. Okay, if the knuckle is bent. The way for you to assess that, you're starting from 0 on your turntables. Your turntables have got numerical numbers, and you see those numbers on your turntables. Starting both at 0, you turn the one to 20 degrees, and ask your buddy on the other side. It should be turning 20 degrees on that side, should be turning up 23 degrees on that side. So all you do is just read it on that side, 23 degrees. If you are 23 to 25 degrees in that sort of range, 22 to 25 degrees really, it should be okay. Anything more than that, you've got a bent knuckle. That's how you diagnose it. That's how you assess that. Does that make sense to you all? Everybody good with that? Wonderful. Carry up on turns. Right, so now we come to linkage parallelism. Linkage parallelism. Customer complaint will be when he comes in, it will go over and above the vehicle goes from side to side. Okay? Typically on a BMW 5 Series, some of the Hondas, some of the Audis, what happens there is that you have an idle arm. The idle arm, that one over there. Now, on the Audi 5 Series, for example, there's only a bimetal plate. Bimetal means two metals. There's a bimetal plate holding that on. What happens is when you take an impact, that plate bends upwards, the linkage changes, so that angle is like that and that angle is like that. So when you go over a bump, think about what happens. This one starts to toe out, this one starts to toe in, so the vehicle squiggles. So when you get under a vehicle for the first time, and assuming you check the tire pressures, you've done the obvious checks, okay? Look at the linkages, they've got to run parallel. This is a very difficult thing to find, and you can find this right at the outset of an alignment. The customer will now never hit anything, and then all that, you've been through that. You know, just look at those linkages, if the linkages are parallel, which they will be 99.99999% of the time. But at 0.1% of the time, then, oops, we have an issue. And that's the linkage parallelism coming into us. Everybody understand the reasoning for that? Does that make sense to you? Okay? So the four most important reasons why a customer will come into you for a recheck on the alignments would be memory steer. You go around to the right hand corner, the car keeps going to the left. Go around the corner, it comes straight and keeps going to the left. Okay, memory steer, that is when the upper bearing seizes on like a Toyota Camry, very, very common in Toyota Camry. Very common on all vehicles with upper dome, with an upper dome type of a bearing assembly. It's got like a plastic loop inside there, cracks. And what happens is it starts binding up, so when you go around the corner, if you hold the spring on your rack, you'll actually feel it binding up. Okay, memories here. So that's the one reason I'll come back. The second reason I'll come back is bump steer. You go over a bump, and the vehicle goes from side to side. That is linkage parallelism, that thing over there. And the third reason I'll come back is the vehicle pulling. The vehicle's pulling to the right, pulling to the left. Typically a caster or a tire issue. Okay, if the vehicle's pulling and the casters are correct, it's probably the tires swapping over left to right, right to left, or front to rear. This will probably resolve that. This is not a perfect world. I want you to know, tires in production, you know, they go through what they call a curing process, and in the curing process, the one side of the press may be a bit hotter than the other side, and the tire forms a cone when first inflated and loaded. And of course that causes the vehicle to generate a pull to either the left or the right. In modern times right now, that has improved a lot. However, it's not a perfect world, so it happens from time to time. So if you've got a pulling issue, don't always blame the alignment. Okay, it could be a tire. Swap the front tire over, see what happens, left to right. Or front to rear. Okay, does everybody understand all that? Right. Now, if you deal with Mercedes-Benz or BMW, I want you to know all those freaking wheels look the same. If you look at the wheel, it looks the same. But are they the same? No, they are not. Because you've got what we call asymmetric design. Asymmetric design. Symmetric is when they're all the same. Asymmetric is when we have a difference. Okay, so if your customer, especially the body shops, they're the worst. Okay, they send you a vehicle, change the tire onto this wheel, and then after they put the wheel on the vehicle, putting to the one side, and then all sorts of things happening. When you get a situation like that, take the old wheel, take the tire off, put it on the ground. Take a tape measure from the ground to the hub. Take the new wheel and measure it. If there is like a quarter of an inch, a half an inch, or a centimeter, or whatever is the difference, it is not the same wheel. Let me repeat, it is not the same wheel. But got to get the right wheel, because we are dealing with a very stupid machine here. This machine needs everything, like all others, needs to be perfect. If you've got one wheel that's in, every 1 millimeter, and all the other vehicles, wheels are symmetrical, what's the machine going to see? The machine is going to see that as toe. It's going to see that it's not towing out, or the wheel's too wide, or see it as towing in. And you, as the good-natured technician that you are, going to tow in the one side, you're going to tow out the other side, and what's going to happen? You're going to know it's steering wheel, you're going to get the pulling to the one side, and you won't know the reason. So if a guy comes in with a new wheel, be very wary. If you have nothing to compare it with, if you have nothing to compare with, pull the wheel off on the other side of the vehicle, on the same axle, do that measurement and do a comparison like that. You have to start from a good point. This machine and all others, you have to. The reason why I put this in here is I have 2 of my shop, and I tell them, what? With Mercedes-Benz and BMW, believe me, this happened to me more than you would imagine. Really, it was an issue. So BMW, Mercedes-Benz, be very aware of it. Also with the positive offset, it's the same thing. Now we come to the pre-alignment.